Welcome to the Rockabye Revenue Podcast with me, Abby Watson. I'm a mum of 4 and a business strategist, and I train people to become hypnobirthing teachers. In the last decade, I've built a thriving baby business that grew beyond my wildest dreams. This podcast is for you if you run a business or dream of running a business in the birth and baby industry. You want to change lives whilst making more money. I'm talking about creating sustainable income whilst being present for the people that matter most. I believe for our baby businesses to have the impact we desire, we must be rewarded. On this podcast, expect me to share actionable strategies without the jargon. I've been where you are. I've built a business while raising 4 little ones, and now I'm here to help you turn your passion into profit while creating the life you've always dreamed of. So let's get started. Hello, lovely one. How are you? Oh, I am back working after a few days of relaxation. Well, who am I kidding, eh? I've got 4 kids. It hasn't been relaxation at all. But what I should say is a few days away from my laptop, from messages and all sorts of things, because last week it was our inspiration day at Love Your Birth, and it was, as ever, such a gorgeous, gorgeous day. But I needed a rest. I really did. And I still do. And, you know, my intention is to not do very much at all this week, except maybe pottering in my garden and, you know, doing the bare minimum, because I am still absolutely exhausted. And that's what I want to talk about today. The realness behind running an event like that. You may see the beautiful pictures, the lovely videos, you know, was all dressed nicely and happy, and it was so gorgeous. There's no denying that. But the reality is, behind that, a lot of work goes into it, and it has totally depleted me. I also want to share some of the real behind the scenes moments with you. And I also want to share some of the reflections that I had thinking about the very first event that I run 5 years ago compared to the one that I did recently. Like, how has it changed after 5 times? So if you're new round here, to fill you in, every year at Love Your Birth, we have an incredible event called the Inspiration Day. We've hosted it at the same venue every year, which is this stunning barn, not too far from where I live. It's a beautiful venue. It really is perfect for what we do, basically, because it's not too big, but it's just right, and it's so beautiful. There's no need to polish a turd. Like, it is beautiful. Like, there's no turd to polish. There really isn't. Yeah, we run it there every single year. It's a wedding venue, so I guess that paints a picture that it's already very pretty, and it is. And yeah, we run this event every single year for the community, like to bring everyone together in person. It, of course, is optional to attend, but it is the most special day at Love Your Birth, because we get to hug in real life, we get to chit chat, and ultimately the focus is inspiring the community, giving them that real dose of motivation and inspiration and like zest for their business. So we have people that come that actually trained with me years ago, and then people that have only just signed up and are just starting this journey and maybe haven't even got their business out there. So people come at completely different stages to their business, and it is just the most loveliest of days. But like I said, it has left me beyond exhausted. Now, it's also my period week. I don't know if that's too much information. Never too much information, right? Like, I think that's probably impacted my levels of exhaustion. My feet, I'm on Tuesday, it was last Thursday, my feet are still hurting. I don't know if I've like permanently damaged them from wearing stilettos all day because they are still hurting. I'm in my office and I've got slippers on because I can't tolerate regular shoes. Like, my feet are so sore, they're burning. But yeah, so I want to share with you the reality behind it and the lessons that I've learned and some of the things that I think we can all learn from. And beyond all that, I really hope one of the things that you take from this episode is the realness of being a human being and doing something that takes a lot of prep, a lot of yourself, a lot of interaction. And even though you might have had the best time, it can still be exhausting, you know? It's not just hard things that exhaust us. Actually, enjoyable things can also exhaust us. So if you're ever in a position where you're like, wow, I've been, working in my business quite a lot lately and I'm exhausted, but I shouldn't be exhausted. Like, my work is so incredible. I'm so lucky to do it. Why am I exhausted? Well, because you're a human being, and actually, it's not only bad stuff that exhausts us. Like, we can be really busy and, have a full day packed and a full week packed of stuff that's good, and it still has that massive impact on our energy. So I want to start by telling you some of the things that went on in the run-up to the event, just to give you a bit of context to why I feel like I need to go into hibernation for like a whole month because I'm so tired. So before the event, it was half term, and half term, I was actually just on the back end of a launch. So I'd done a bit of a promotion at Love Your Birth. We had a really special offer. I'd interacted with tons of incredible women that were thinking about becoming hypnobirthing teachers, and 13 had joined our community, which I am so grateful to, and it just makes my heart sing that that's 13 more women spreading the positive birth message. So that just is fantastic. However, a launch takes a lot of energy. For a few weeks, I had to be extremely visible. I needed to be chatting with people. I needed to be pushing myself out of my comfort zone. That takes a lot, it's like doing a taster event on steroids, I do several of them and I'm here, there and everywhere. It takes a lot. I do have it planned to a T though. I've done these launch events several times over the years, so I do have it pretty well planned, but it still takes a lot of you. Now, the reason it had an extra layer of stress was that during my launch, which I do use Facebook ads for, so I do pay to use Facebook ads in the lead up and during the launch, which just helps the event get out to more people and it attracts the dreamiest of clients because it's able to spread my message beyond just the people that are already in my community. So I use Facebook ads, and that's always been a fabulous strategy. Now, a couple of weeks ago, it was Betsy's birthday party. And, that alone, I'm reliving the trauma, actually, because actually planning her birthday party was, hugely demanding in itself. So she had a birthday party at a venue near me. It was a lovely arty party. It was great. However, it took quite a lot of planning. I am Miss Last Minute Larry, Last Minute Letitia, whoever I am. So, like, yeah, inviting people, chasing up RSVPs felt a lot because I'd not given myself a lot of time. Also, the communication with her party venue was terrible. So even up to like the day before, I was thinking, is this actually going ahead? Because they weren't getting back to my emails. So it was a lot for the nervous system. Anyway, the Saturday comes, she has a party, and there I am, you know, entertaining all these 6 and 7 year old. And it's a lot, it's busy, you know, you really feel like you've got to chat to all these parents. It felt a lot. But whilst I was doing it, my phone kept pinging, and it was a ping from my bank. I'm with Starling, and, you know, I saw a message, and it was like, Facebook has you've paid Facebook £700. Didn't think anything of it at first, because I was like, right, well, I've been running ads. That will be, you know, the total for the last few days. 15 minutes later, another ping. £700 has gone to Facebook. Again, didn't think much of it because there was this party going on, and I was thinking, you know, maybe it's a bit of a duplicate message. Maybe they just really want to make it clear to me that I have transferred £700. 15 minutes later, you have paid Facebook £700. Anyway, the party's got to go on, hasn't it? So I continue with the party. As we leave this lovely arty party with gift bags galore, I look at my phone and I scroll through my notifications, and I've got like 10 of these notifications, all saying I'd paid Facebook £700. So at that point, I log into my bank, and there I see it. I've paid over £7,000 in one day to Facebook. And then another 15 minutes goes by, another ping, another £700. And I'm thinking, oh my God, like, what do I do? How do I stop these payments? I do have someone who manages my ad account, so I got in touch with her. I told her about what was going on. We tried to pause payments. By the time we paused them, 11 grand in total had come out of my account. This money was not from my ads. That money had already gone. So I was like, oh my God, like, what is happening here? And I've got to say all this money had gone out of my account, I felt pretty calm. And which is crazy because, like, my account balance was nearly at zero. But there was something in me that was like, this isn't right. Like, this is just going to get pinged back to me, because you can't just take 11 grand off someone. Anyway, Adam, my husband, he knows a little bit about Facebook ads. So he logged in and he was like, oh my gosh, Abby, look at this. So someone had hacked into my Facebook account, my meta ads bit, which I don't understand. And, like, you know, this is a massive error. Like, as much as I'm outsourcing things to other people, I still need to, you know, lesson learned, I still need to understand it a bit for times like this, you know. He was like, look at this. And there was this random advert, like, selling some kind of gadget for Father's Day that I don't know how much it cost, but the person that had hacked in my account had set up this ad and was basically generating money to their business via this ad that no doubt they won't even fulfill. So those people who've bought that product have just basically paid this scammer and they won't get the product. And it's my ad account that has been paying. So to cut a long story short, being hacked has cost me £11,000. That money has already left my business. You know, it's gone. It's not like in an invoice that I need to pay. It's gone automatically out of my account. And I have been left having to chase this up with Facebook. And if you know anything about having a problem with social media, oh my gosh, it is a nightmare trying to get in touch with an actual human being. Keep getting automated responses. Did get through to a human, then they closed the call after a few messages and I got reverted back to an AI robot. It has been a lot. I'm a few weeks into this and I've still not got my money. So I'm telling you this because I'm wanting to paint a picture of just how full on the last few weeks has been. To add to it, we then went to Centre Parks, which I am not complaining about. That was lovely, but it was during my launch. The only reason we went at that date was because my sister had already booked and she was like, oh, I'd love you all to come along. It'll be great. The kids will love it, being all together. And it was great. But any of you that have actually been to Centre Parks will know it's not a restful holiday. You are on the go all the time. And I mean, the reason we love going to Facebook, we don't love going to Facebook. The reason we love going to Centre Parks is it's the one place my children actually feel calm about going. You know, I don't know if you heard my podcast episode last year with our holiday from hell that we nearly didn't go on because my eldest son, who's got special needs, was so distressed about Centre Parks. He jumps in the car, he's happy to go. So yeah, we lap that holiday up because it's easy for us. He knows what to expect. It's great. But it's a lot, you know, when you're going on holiday and you're packing for yourself and your 4 kids and, you know, your husband dips in here and there with his own stuff, nobody else's, like it's exhausting. Then you blooming get back and you feel like you haven't washed clothes for like 10 years. You've got that much to catch up with. The house felt chaotic. We got back on Monday night and the inspiration day was Thursday. So it had been full on, go, go, go. Not to even mention that, you know, as much as my eldest is now happily attending his specialist school that I fought for a long, long time for, and it took every ounce of my energy. I feel like I'm now in the same place, but this time with my daughter, who's first year at high school, is also a bit of a hellhole. Yeah, hellhole, that's not the right term. You know what I want to say. Yeah, it's been a disaster and she's in the process of getting an EHCP. So I got the draft for that. I needed to check it. It's a lot. It's like admin hell. So a lot had been going on before the inspiration day. I'm 17 minutes into this podcast. I didn't even got onto the inspiration day, have I? But anyway, the inspiration day was going ahead on the Thursday. I was back from holiday Monday night. To be honest, I tried to do as much as I possibly could for the inspiration day before the holiday, you know, so that it was just loose ends I needed to tie. But you know what it's like. There's always more to do. I had my yearly disaster with peonies. Every year, I want beautiful peonies at the event because I'm sorry, there's no prettier flower. There really isn't. But peonies, my goodness, what is wrong with you? Like, how do you get the beggars to like open and bloom? This time, I bought them a whole week before the event. I bought them before I went to Centre Parks, knowing they'd have lots of time to bloom. Got back, only about 3 of them had bloomed. So then I was on the internet trying to get these things, trying to induce blooming, and I killed them. I killed most of them because I went too far. I took my intervention too far. I read that if you dipped them in hot water, got them out, whacked them on the table, it sounds pretty brutal, doesn't it? It was. They'd open. Well, I did that. But I thought, oh, come on, I've not got long to go, so I won't just dip them in the hot water. I'll leave them at least a minute. Left them in the water, whacked them on the tables. Some of the heads just flew across the room. Others I put in a vase next morning to find them rock hard and dead, you know. Then I had to go round the shops looking for flowers. And then I blooming found some already bloomed in M&S. Well, if I'd have known it were that easy, I'd have done that in the first place. So I seem to have this every single year. I never learn. Why don't I just go for a replacement flower? Why? So I'm there faffing about with flowers, I'm buying last minute things, I'm overthinking everything like you do when you are running something that is important to you, chasing up like people that are coming to do chats and all sorts of things. It felt a busy couple of days. All the while, I am thinking, I'm not happy with the dress I've bought, so I've ordered loads more dresses, I'm trying them on, squeezing on the Spanx, then thinking, how am I going to pee? How am I going to pee? I didn't end up wearing the Spanx because I prioritised being able to urinate. So yeah, it was a lot. I've sent Adam with all these parcels to return because I can't even deal with it. He is returning those parcels for me, and you know I should be blooming in the money when all those are refunded because I'd bought a lot in a wild panic. So yeah, the run-up did not feel calm. It didn't, even though I felt like I'd done a lot of prep this time. The day of the event, set my alarm for 5 a.m, okay? That's early, isn't it? But I'd rather have too much time than too little time. And I knew it wasn't just about getting myself ready. I did have to do the kids' hair, you know. I can't do it to them and let Adam do it for them. So, yeah, there was lots to do before I left. Got in the car, drove there, felt fairly chilled and arrived. But as always, setting up the venue, you know, there's panic feelings. Like, are some of the people going to turn up? Not necessarily the lovelies that are attending the event, but I was thinking, oh my gosh, is the balloon lady going to turn up? Is the videographer going to turn up? Is the sound bath lady going to turn up? All these things go through your mind, and as much as I'm smiling away, I am absolutely thinking that underneath, you know? So the day itself was so lovely. You know, we had over 40 incredible women from our community attend, and I tell you what's just so nice. There's something magical about being in a room with these people, and some of them you've never actually met in person, but it feels like you know them really well, and thinking, my God, I tell you what I thought, my God, like, why have I never been around women like this before? Like, why, when I was at school, weren't there girls like this? When I was going through, like, my motherhood journey, why were there not women like this around me? You know, believe it or not, I've always, you know, felt like, I don't know, I've never really fit. I've got some lovely friends, but, you know, I haven't got loads of friends. I'm select, like, I'm a bit niche, like, I'm not for everyone, I don't think. But in that room, I thought, these are my women, like, these are the type of women I want to spend my days with, like, just the loveliest. And one of the speakers, Sam Bevington, said something to me afterwards that, God, I couldn't like have not like nodded my head to and been like, oh my gosh, yes, you are so right. She said like the special thing about that event and the event that she'd been to of mine a couple of years ago, she said it's really rare to be in a room full of women who actually, you know, all do the same thing, but there's no cliques, there's no corners, there's no like areas that you're not allowed to sit. Like everyone is just so lovely. And it's so blooming true. And I really want you to hear this when I say this, because I think it's so important. How have I got this community full of like the loveliest women? Well, I tell you how. I was sat there and I was pondering this question and I thought, well, how has that happened? And, you know, Sam was like, you know, that's because of you. You're like, you know, your vibe attracts your vibe. No, your vibe attracts your vibe. Your vibe attracts your tribe. Totally true. Totally agree with her. However, I also have to say to you this. The reason that that room was full of the most glorious of humans and my wider community is full of the most glorious humans is no doubt because I've also repelled other people. And I know early on in my business journey, the thought that I had to repel people, the thought that some people had to not like me would feel so uncomfortable. But I tell you now, like, if you listen to this podcast and you're like, oh, I love listening to Abby, you know, and when people say that, it just makes me smile so much. I'm glad that, you know, you enjoy listening to my waffles. But there are also people out there that don't really like me, you know? And I'm not telling you that for your sympathy. You know, I'm not. So you go like, Abby, you are likeable, don't worry. I know I am, but I am also a human being, and the nature of being a human being is that some people don't like us. And I really wanted to say that today on this podcast because I know so many of you that listen to this, lovely people, are scared of being disliked, are scared of repelling people. But you know, there are people that come across my training with its pink glory and, you know, my, you know, Yorkshire accent and, you know, maybe a little fluffy, as some people have previously described me, and thought she and her training is not for me. Good. Because that's how I've got that room full of the loveliest humans and the community full of the loveliest humans. And I wouldn't want anything different for my business. And I want you to think about that now in your own business. You know, give yourself permission to be quietly disliked. And I say quietly because we don't want to hear it, do we? God. I don't want to hear about the people who don't like me, but, you know, but just I'm accepting that there will be those people, you know? So, yeah, the room was filled with glorious people and we had the most gorgeous day. We had two wonderful women do speaks. No, they were not doing speaks, doing talks. So Sam Bevington came to talk about like building your business in a way that makes you not stuck on the roller coaster of social media. And then Eleanor Marshall did a fab talk all about money mindset and why we need to charge our worth. And then in the afternoon, Hannah Brown did an amazing talk all about how she found her authenticity in her business away from blooming ChatGPT and actually through the love of books. And she talked about that, which was really inspiring. We also had an incredible sound bath. We did some vision boarding. We did some content creation. It was lovely, and the feedback was really great. Now, the day wasn't without its drama, and one of our gorgeous community members actually had a bit of a health episode during, which, gosh, she couldn't have been in better company because she was surrounded by nurses and midwives that all helped her, and she's absolutely fine. And oh my gosh, like, my heart went out to her that, you know, she'd made such an effort to come to this day that was miles away from her home. And actually, you know, she'd had a bit of a scary fainting episode. But it was dealt with, and she's fine. And I really hope it also didn't take anything away from the day. But it definitely, again, put all us running the event and the incredible woman that experienced it, nervous systems on edge. You know, it was definitely not something we expected, and it definitely took a lot of energy to, you know, deal with and think about what the right things to do were, and things like that. So yeah, it wasn't without its dramas. Then we came to the end of the event, and, you know, usually we are absolutely on a high. We are, and we were on a high. You know, I had wonderful helpers, you know, wonderful support. There was me, there was Hannah Brown, and there was Laura Thompson, all helping set up, clear away the event, and run it, and they were amazing. But we were all like debriefing at the end, and we was like, oh gosh, like that was a lot. Like we were all like exhausted from it. We were like, it was so lovely to talk to people, but the like worry of, you know, is it all going well? Is everybody looked after? Is everybody having a great day? Felt a lot. You know, and then you're clearing up in a rush because you need to get out of the venue, and you're finding, you know, all the things that you've dotted around the venue in random spots. We were like, oh my gosh. And then we were outside. I'd almost packed up my car. And then Laura goes to me really casually. She goes, oh, Abby, you've got a massive spider in your hair. A massive spider. Like, you can't say that to Abby Watson, all casual. I don't think she realised exactly how scared I am of spiders. So there I was, tipping my head upside down, rubbing my hair like furiously, absolutely swearing like a trooper, and then almost falling down the stairs in sheer panic. I'm stood at the top of like 3 stairs that went down into the car park in stilettos, and I stumbled down. And both Hannah and Laura were like, oh my gosh, Abby, I have never heard you swear like that. You also haven't seen me with a spider in my hair before. Honestly, after that, I mean, any of you that have got a fear of spiders will know, like, there is no calming down after, you know, thinking, well, knowing you had a spider in your hair. The whole journey, I was like, oh my God, like, has it got a friend? Has its friend come in the car with me? Like, is there a whole nest of them? I was just totally on edge. So that was the day. Beautiful, full on, amazing, so good to see people, and stressful, all in equal measure. So there you have it. that was Thursday, the highlight of my year, but also utterly exhausting. And I want to repeat what I said earlier in this episode, like not just hard, horrible things exhaust us, also good, wonderful, memory-making things exhaust us, and that's okay. Now, there's no doubt that I won't be doing this next year. No. Let me say that properly. There is no doubt that we will be doing the Inspiration Day next year. Absolutely will be doing it. And there's no doubt that next year I'll still be blooming killing peonies and stressing about what to wear and overthinking whether everybody had a good day and, feeling depleted. But it will be all worth it, because I tell you what makes it so worth it. Like, there's very few opportunities in my business where I get to truly be with the people that experience my training, that I truly hear the impact it has, that I get to help those relationships blossom with other teachers, and I get to see those friendships taking form, and that is worth it all, And I know one day when I'm retired, if that'll ever happen, will I retire? Do you retire when you've got your own business? Who knows? But one day when I'm old and grey, I'm already grey, I pluck them. The event involved a lot of plucking of grey hairs. I know you're all cringing and thinking, do not pluck them. Several will return to the funeral. I can't bring myself to dye my hair, I've actually got virgin hair. I don't dye my hair, and I know I'm going to have to start at some point. But for now, I'm sticking with the plucking of the grey hairs. I can't remember what I was saying. Well, I was saying, wasn't I? One day when I'm old and very, very grey, I'll look back and I know I will have the biggest smile when I look back at the Inspiration Days. And honestly, they bring such pinch me moments. Like Abby, when I had 2 under 2 kids and I was thinking of starting a business, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, could I really do it? Like, what would she think of what I've created? And, it cringes me to say, because I don't know, it feels a little boastful, but I guess, me, just like you, we need to be proud of what we've achieved. And, oh my gosh, like, as if I have got this amazing community of people that I've trained to be hypnobirthing teachers, and they are teaching hypnobirthing all over the country, all over the world. Like, oh my gosh, pinch me now. Like, oh my gosh, am I dreaming? Like, how incredible is that? And yeah, it feels unbelievable. I've got 4 kids, I've got a busy life, yet look at that beautiful day. Like, one day, years ago, that was all a dream. It was something that was on my vision board. I remember actually, maybe it was about 2018, and I'd been teaching hypnobirthing for a good few years, and I was ambitious of what I could do next, and I wasn't sure where I wanted my business to go, but I did have big dreams, and I used to follow, and I still do follow her actually. I've not seen her about for a bit. I hope she's still going. The lovely lady that runs Placenta Plus, she's so inspiring. And I remember at the time, she used to do these incredible in-person events, and she'd have fancy balloons. And I remember putting fancy balloons on my vision board because I wanted to do some kind of event, like bringing people together. I wasn't sure what it was going to be like. But the last 5 years, once a year, I've had these fancy events with fancy balloons. And that was once on my vision board, you know. So I want you to hear that from a place of get those blooming things on your vision board, like whatever you feel you would love one day. You don't even need to know like how it's all going to come together, but get it on there because it will come together and it might not be in the way you expect, but it might be incredible, you know. And that's definitely what I've been reflecting on in my exhausted state, in my very much having a social hangover state, not because I don't love connecting with people, but because as an introvert, it takes a lot out of me. It does. You know, planning and running our inspiration days are a little bit like planning a wedding and hosting a wedding whilst you're also like the bride and groom. But you don't get a honeymoon after to rest. So yeah, I have definitely been taking it easy on myself, knowing that, of course, things have been busy lately and I need to rest. And I hope you hear that too. I know that if you're reflecting on, you know, the last few weeks, days, months has been really busy, and maybe it's been busy in the best way, it's okay to have some quiet time. It's okay to just do the bare minimum for a little whilst you get your energy back. And that is the beauty of running your own business. You don't have to be full on all the time. You can work in seasons. You can, be go, 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 and then be slow, slow, slow. Like you absolutely can, And when I think back to the first time that I ran my event, I had a moment recently that really got me thinking about it, because as I was amending the programme of this upcoming event, the one that's just happened, but in the run-up, I was thinking, let me plan the programme for the upcoming event. I saw the first ever programme from 5 years ago, from, 2022, the first time we ever ran the Inspiration Day. And I cringed when I saw it. I did. It seemed so basic. It wasn't very detailed. Every bit of it was just describing the little things we were going to do at various points. It was pretty much all delivered by me rather than external people. And I felt a bit like, oh my gosh, I would die if I had to put that out right now. And this is what it made me think about. It made me think about something that I was talking about on this podcast a few episodes ago, when I talked about we are always evolving, and when we first do something, it's not our finished product, it's not going to be as perfect as it might be in a few more times, and that's okay. The first time I did an Inspiration Day, of course I got incredible feedback. But of course, I've continued to evolve and change the Inspiration Day as it goes, because I learn lessons. Like I said, the first ever one, it was me talking throughout the whole day. And I soon realised, that was too much. I also wanted to connect with people. I also wanted to, manage everything that was going on. And literally the first one was just me and Hannah helping me. That wasn't enough help. It's a busy day with a lot of moving parts, but we live and we learn, and it's okay to evolve things as we go. Your first time won't be your final time, so it's okay if things are pretty imperfect. And no doubt, nobody is criticising it in the way that we do when it's our own thing, okay? And I needed to hear that actually today. You know, as much as last week, you know, hopefully looked really good to everybody that attended, you know, no doubt looked beautiful for those people seeing it, you know, on social media now. Please hear me when I say, of course I'm looking back on it and I'm thinking, I could have done that better. Oh, if only I'd have done this. If only I'd have blooming got the Love Your Birth banner out that I blooming forgot all about. There's so many bits of last week that I am thinking, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. That doesn't take away from how great the day was. And that's my message for you too. Like, you may run an event, you may run a session, you may do a course, and you might naturally think of all the things you could have done differently or better even, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't great. You know, that doesn't mean that the people that attended or, you know, experienced what you were offering were criticising it. We are often our worst critic, you know? And that need to feel like, oh gosh, it wasn't quite perfect. That just keeps us improving it for next time. Not because the first time, the second time, or even the fifth time was wrong, but just because we can learn and we can make things even better as we go. So there you have it. That's behind the scenes of the reality of my Inspiration Day. And like I said earlier, like, the Inspiration Day will continue to be such a big part of Love Your Birth. We don't run it to make money. We actually barely cover our costs, you know. It's simply to embrace our community and be that thing that brings our wonderful community together. So, as always, I really hope you've taken something from this episode. And, you know, this was a long one. This was a long episode. So thank you for listening if you did get to the end. And I'd really love to hear your takeaway. Like, what have you taken away from this episode? You know, for your own business, for your own self, because this was one of those informal episodes that wasn't, you know, 5 tips for a taster session, you know, how to run a great event. This was just me explaining the human side of running something like that. And I do hope it's been useful. So, as always, lovely one, keep on changing lives, never stop. And I hope to see you on the next episode of Rockabye Revenue. Take care. Bye. Thank you for listening to Rockabye Revenue. I hope this episode has left you with some fresh ideas and bundles of motivation. If you enjoyed this episode, do make sure you click subscribe so you never miss an installment. And if you found this episode useful, I'd love you forever if you leave a 5-star review, helping this podcast reach the ears of more of the helpers in this world. And remember, keep changing lives. See you next time.